What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this tutorial on filtered decks in Anki. I'm Rob, and in this tutorial we will explore the features and functionalities of filtered decks, which will allow you to customize your study sessions and focus on specific material that you need to learn for your next exam. So the easiest way to create a filter deck is by using the custom study button, and this button appears at the bottom of the screen when you click on a deck in Anki. So let's take a look at what this option can do for us. So when you click on the custom study button, you see several convenient preset filters for common study tasks. So here's a summary of what each option and what each one does. So when you increase today's new card limit, this option basically allows you to add more new cards to the deck you are currently studying, and it modifies the existing deck, allowing you to get ahead on the next day's cards. So when you select increase today's review limit, if you haven't completed all your daily reviews due to the review limit, this option lets you show more review cards for the day, and which helps you catch up on your reviews and ensures that you don't miss any important cards. Review forgotten cards. By selecting this option, you can review all the cards that you've already answered again within a specified number of days. It's kind of a good way to focus on cards that need more attention and improve your understanding. And for the review ahead option, this basically allows you to show cards that will be due in the near future based on the number of days you specify. It can be helpful for reviewing older cards before a vacation or some other event. However, it won't include recently learned cards. For preview new cards, with this option you can preview recently added cards without converting them into review cards as you answer them. It's a useful way to familiarize yourself with the new material before adding it to your regular study sessions. And then the study by state or tag, this option allows you to select a certain number of cards from the current deck based on their state, new, due, or all cards. You can further limit the selected cards by using tags. However, if you want to study cards by their tag, deck, or state more extensively, I think that filtered decks are a more suitable option, which I'll talk about now. Okay, so now I want to go over filtered decks and how we can use them to really narrow down what it is that we want to study. So in order to open up a filtered deck, either you can use the hotkey F, or you can come up to Tools and press Create Filtered Deck. Okay, now for the name of the deck, I'm going to put 3 zeros and then call it the demo deck. And the reason I put 3 zeros before that is because the way Anki works is it will put cards in numerical and alphabetical order. So by putting 3 zeros at the beginning of it, it'll put it all the way to the top. Okay, so the first thing let's say we want to do is study cards that are in 2 different subdecks. In this case, let's say we're studying for step 1, and we've got cards in the Anki Cardio deck, and we have cards in the Anki Endocrine deck, and we want to study those both together. What we're going to do is come in here to the search bar and put in deck. Now when I put in that colon after deck, that's what prompts up this window and makes it easier to search. That's the better search add-on that I was talking about. So we're going to do Anki, step 1, cardio. Okay. And then we're going to put or, and then we're going to put in deck for endocrine. And here we are. All right. Now I haven't specified that these are due cards, new cards, or learning cards. I've just put in the 2 decks, and now it's going to grab all the cards that are unsuspended that fall into these 2 categories. I'm going to increase the card select all the way up to 999, and then I like to put the setting to order due, but there's different ways that you can, depending upon what you want the filter deck to give you. And so now you can see the demo deck has been created at the top of this list of decks, and all the cards in there meet that criteria. Now let's say we only want to study those cards that are due today and meet those 2 criteria that we set up. We can go back into options, and now we can take this whole phrase, we'll call it, and put it in parentheses. And now we're going to do all the due cards. So what we do is put is, colon, due, And now we see that we only have 12 cards that meet that criteria that we can study today. All right, now I want to talk about how we can incorporate tags into our search criteria. So let's say we want to go into the Anki deck and only study the pharmacology cards, or better yet, just the sketchy pharmacology cards. So we can go into options, and we're going to start over, put in deck, Anki, step 1. Okay, and then we're going to add the tag for sketchy. I'm using version 12 of the Anki deck, so I'm going to put in B12, farm, and then I'm going to use this tag. Now, if you understand how hierarchical tags work, this will make sense. But basically, we only the more subcategorized we get down in the tags, the smaller our criteria is going to be. But I'd like, in this case, not just the general pharmacology tag, but I want everything tagged with sketchy farm. So I'm going to remove this end of the tag. And now I should be able to collect everything that is in the step 1 deck and is sketchy farm. And there we have it. Okay, so lastly I want to talk about properties and how we can use them to narrow and focus down on what cards we want to study. So here we're going to come up here into the search bar and put in prop, and here we have a couple options. So we can do properties based on when they're due. So cards that were due yesterday, you can just put in as equals negative however many days you want to study. Cards due in the future, so 2 days out, 3 days out, so on and so forth. And then you can also do cards based on an interval or a period of time as to when they'll be due. So let's say you have a weekend coming up and you know you're not going to be able to study, so you can set it from from Friday to Sunday and just study those cards ahead of time. Then you can also study by ease. So for those of you who don't know, ease is the multiplying factor that Anki uses to space cards out into the future depending upon how well you know them. If you lapse cards, ease goes down, so it becomes a good metric for measuring cards that you don't know very well. So cards with low ease are going to be cards that you don't know very well. And then for interval, you can study cards based on how many intervals out there are. So this is also kind of a bit of a measurement for how mature these cards are. Cards with large intervals are cards that you've seen multiple times and sent out into the future and know very well. Cards with lapses, so cards that you don't know very well, you've lapsed multiple times. You can study cards based on that criteria as well. And then lastly, you can study cards based on reps. So that's how many times you've seen that card in total across that card's lifespan. So for the purposes of this, we're going to go ahead and make a property based on the ease, because that's what I tend to use when I'm trying to narrow down the cards I want to focus on. So I'm going to go ahead and select ease, and I'm going to change this exclamation point to a less than, and then I'm going to set it to 2.0. And so what this statement is saying is that we want cards that are in the Anki Step 1 deck and are tagged for the sketchy farm tag and have an ease less than or equal to 2.0. All right, and there we have it. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this. I'm considering making some videos in the future about the filter decks that I use during my dedicated period for Step 1. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in the comments below. Well, otherwise, have a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.